YouTube, how we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo. And this is another episode of Yo Hoops. We go through every NBA game every day. Today's Monday, March 31st, last day of the month, and we have an 8-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through every game, let you know which sides I like, and stick around because I have 2 highlighted selections for today. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's recap. Recapping yesterday, we cashed our highlighted play of the day. We took the Minnesota Timberwolves laying 7 points against the Detroit Pistons. The Pistons led by 14 at the end of the first quarter, but the Wolves mobbed all the way back to win it 123-104. They ran them out of the gym. We've now cashed our last 4 highlighted plays in a row. Let's keep that momentum rolling and end the month on a high note. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the LA Clippers in Orlando taking on the Orlando Magic. Clippers are laying 2.5 points, and the total is 210.5. The Clippers come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Cleveland to Orlando. Norman Powell dropped 34 points last night, but he also played 39 minutes. The game was close down the stretch. Looking at the injury report here, Kawhi Leonard and Amir Coffey are both listed as questionable. The Magic are, of course, still without Cole Anthony and Jalen Suggs. Orlando's looked good recently. They're 4-1 in their last 5 games, and they're starting to find some offensive consistency. We know they play their best ball at home, and on no rest, I think the Clippers have a long night ahead of them. Let's start out the card strong. We're taking the Magic plus the 2.5 as our first highlighted selection of the evening. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Miami Heat in Washington taking on the Washington Wizards. Heat are laying 9 points, and the total is 217. The injury reports for both sides are a mile long coming into this one. The Wizards are in tank mode, so they're sitting half their team, but the Heat are without Andrew Wiggins, Duncan Robinson, Kevin Love, and Nikola Jovic. Still, I have to roll with Miami. The Wizards have the worst record in the league and should be focused on that number 1 pick. I'm not necessarily rushing to the window to lay double digits with the banged up Heat on the road, but against the Wizards, it's the right play. We're taking the Heat laying the 9 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Sacramento Kings in Indiana taking on the Indiana Pacers. Pacers are laying 5.5 points, and the total is 233. For me, this is a tough one. Both of these teams can put up 140 points in this spot and win it by a margin. It really depends who's hot. The Kings have slid to the 10th spot in the West, 1 game ahead of the Suns, who are currently out of the play-in picture. The Kings are in must-win territory, and I do expect them to be the more motivated team tonight. The Pacers are known to let teams hang around, and the Kings probably keep this one within the number. We're taking the Kings plus the 5.5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Utah Jazz in Charlotte taking on the Charlotte Hornets. Hornets are laying 1.5 points, and the total is 219.5. This is that bottom of the barrel game of the day, one I'll personally be staying away from. The Hornets are on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from New Orleans back home to Charlotte. They are 1 game ahead of the Jazz in the overall standings, but both teams haven't looked good recently. At home in Charlotte with a few guys like Miles Bridges, Seth Curry, and Mark Williams going, I would think they should beat up on the Jazz in this spot. Colin Sexton is the only starter going for Utah. Their bench has hoop, but based on how many guys are sitting, it looks like they've thrown in the towel. It's a lean at best, but I do lean towards the Hornets on the money line as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Boston Celtics in Memphis taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Celtics are laying 5 points, and the total is 236.5. Earlier in the season, I definitely look in the Grizzlies' direction, but not tonight. They're 1-4 in their last 5 games, and they just lost to the Lakers outright in Memphis. Desmond Bane was out there pushing Santi Aldama into the bench. It's not a good look. Jaylen Brown is questionable for this one, but I still don't see the Celtics as this short of favorites, even if he sits. The Grizzlies will come into this one hungry after the recent run they've been on, but the Celtics in playoff form is not a team I want to step in front of. We're taking the Celtics laying the 5 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls in Oklahoma City taking on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Thunder are laying 15 points, and the total is 238.5. Looking at the injury reports for this one, the Bulls will be without Kevin Huerter and EJ Liddell, then Josh Giddey is questionable. On the Thunder side, Ousmane Dieng and Aaron Wiggins are ruled out, then Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein are listed as questionable. Both injury reports are concerning, but with the recent run the Bulls have been on, I don't see how the Thunder are laying 15 points. They are the more talented team and have been covering these huge spreads, but I can't expect them to run the Bulls out of the gym. I do want to know if Josh Giddey is playing, but regardless, I can't lay this style number in this spot. It's a lean at best, but I do lean towards the Bulls plus the 15 as our next selection of today. Let's move. In our next matchup, we have the Brooklyn Nets in Dallas taking on the Dallas Mavericks. Mavs are laying 9 points, and the total is 218. We've been cashing with the Mavs recently, but it does look like the books are catching on a bit. They've now moved into the 9th spot in the West, and they're getting a lot of their guys back tonight. Anthony Davis, Daniel Gafford, and Caleb Martin are all probable for this one. I really like the spot for Dallas. My only concern is the Nets have been exceptional as road underdogs. On the season, they're 23, 12, and 1 against the spread in this spot, the third best in the league. Regardless, they're still banged up coming into this one, and I think the Mavs win it by margin. Nick Claxton is questionable, so with AD and Gafford out there, they should dominate the glass. We're going back to the well. We're taking the Mavericks laying the 9 as our second highlighted selection of the evening. Let's move. In our last and final matchup of the evening, we have the Houston Rockets in Los Angeles taking on the Los Angeles Lakers. Lakers are laying 4 points, and the total is 225. The Rockets come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Phoenix to Los Angeles. They aired out the Suns last night, winning it 148-109. Most of Houston's starters only played around 25 minutes, so rest shouldn't be a huge factor here. LeBron and Luka are both playing tonight, but we know the Lakers' weakness is their big man presence. It looks like Tari Eason and Jabari Smith will both be going, and I think the Rockets win the game. They have a huge advantage on the glass, and they play with that high offensive pace that the Lakers haven't been able to handle recently. We're taking the Rockets plus the 4 and split on the money line as our last and final selection of the evening. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. We're now 20-16-2 against the spread on highlighted plays in March. We've cashed our last 4 in a row, but let's finish the month strong and go 2-0 today. I told you guys I'm ending March on a heater. I appreciate the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'm going to catch y'all. Peace.